Welcome to DevCast number 8. My name is Baraki. The game is still The Unwanted War. This week's progress has been kind of mixed. It has been all over the place. Some visual, some behind the scenes, some audio stuff behind the scenes. I can't show or let you hear some of those updates, but some of them I certainly can. It has been bothering me for a technical reason, to be specific, but it has been bothering me a bit in the main menu, how things change when you change into one of these menus. So now there is a brief transition between these moves. The technical reason is that I have to start stuff here in the background, but it's a bit useless information. But there is always just a short one. It looks a bit odd in the editor, but that's due to how the editor runs. I can't change much about that. So yeah, these lovely transitions, the color that it fades to, I'm not 100% fixed on yet. But at least the framework for that is now in place, and I can adjust it. And now, as I already moved into this beautiful scene here, you can see that the chat background now no longer is just a pure white, faded out screen. It now matches the actual era of history that you move into, so that is now consistent. It's the same as in-game. And moving on with the UI stuff, I finally tackled the very ugly blue-red color scheme of the contemporary era. So there is now a new set of backgrounds for the contemporary era. It kind of stays in line with some of the settings. I'm 100% happy with the foreground color. I might change it a bit, but for now the contrast is strong and it doesn't look all odd, to be quite honest. So that has changed. I'm gonna tweak it here and there, but overall I quite like it. It gives a relatively modern look in comparison to the other ones. As you can see, they are steadily moving a bit more modern. I decided to go the sci-fi route because the contemporary era really isn't sci-fi, and I was tempted to add rounded corners, but as I personally do not like rounded corners on UI, I didn't. Even though that's the current trend, but that was the trend 10 years ago, and then it went all to square corners, and now we're back to round corners. It's a cycle. So yeah, that's why I essentially opted for the chamfered corners. Chamfers make everything better. Chamfers differentiate us from the animal. Right. To stay in line with this, I'm gonna briefly move into a game because there have been changes here as well. So we're still in the contemporary era because that's where I did one of the changes. You might remember that I updated some animations. Here you just could see, sorry, I can't wind back, but the loading UI for the players, so to show that the player has loaded in, has also been updated. It was pure white backgrounds, and now it's actually the image of the player with a red or green indication if the player has loaded in. I realize red and green is a difficult thing. I do keep that in mind. I honestly haven't found a better background issue for that, background colors for that, so I might change it to an icon status. But that's just details on that, and instead of using a color, easy enough. Right, so if we go into here and build ourselves a rocket trooper, these guys now also have animations. I need to tweak the animation rigging still, and all the sounds and all that stuff, but they now have a dedicated animation to use for rockets. And because that's very loud, I'm gonna stop that there. if we grab ourselves a contractor, if I can find it. No, contractor, this guy. So that's the build unit, carrying in P90, just because why not? Another update has been, what are we gonna build? Let's build a heavy missile battery. You can see now the center of rotation with a highlighted dot and an arrow pointing towards the front. Can tell my mouse is on the other side. That's an issue I'm aware of and I'm setting up to fix. But now we can actually tell where the front of a building is. Now with a missile battery that can rotate, that's not the biggest issue. But if you take stuff like a plane hangar, let's not do that. Come on, where is it? There we go. Yeah, you can tell there's a bit of issues with these. With these hangars, where there's actually a front to the building, where the units are spawning, this does make a difference. Again, in this era, most of the stuff is a bit broken. So we're just gonna ignore the fact that it doesn't show up, please. It is what it is. One of the things you can't see because I'm sitting in front of it, I have re-enabled the UI for the score. That somewhere in the middle of everything has been kinda messed up. Yeah, formation. Yes, I call that formation the scatter formation. Because it just gives units a random position. Every time you send them somewhere, you get a different random formation. It should even be called scatter, yes. That's kind of the modern approach of not having battlefield formations that are all too precise. Right, and you can tell some of the UI is still not updated. Yeah, that's basically most of the changes for this week. And yeah, you can still tell this is live on Twitch, although this is now a recording. Now that's a conundrum for the people watching. But on that note, with all our lovely units, I just like the operator. It's such a, I just like that unit. What can I tell? What can I say? It's just beautiful. Yeah, again, the chat now in-game is themed properly as well. There has been a bug fix for chat not showing up. Now it does. I found that while testing a cheat. Look, cheats are only for development. I'm definitely not gonna add a skirmish option to disable them. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this week's DevCast. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.